go. Hi there, YouTubers. Buying an RV, first time buying an RV, you should be a little concerned, and there's things I'm going to tell you that you need to look for so you don't get ripped off. First thing you need to understand is whatever the person is selling you the RV tells you, don't listen to a word they got to say, alright? Not a word. They can tell you about the parts, things that are in it, but don't listen to the history, alright? The guy who's selling you the RV is a used car salesman, which you don't trust, and he's a realtor. Don't trust them either. So you're getting this guy who's trying to sell you something that he knows nothing about. You might know about how it works and stuff, but the history of the RV, never listen to that. We've been screwed over so many times. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do is check the tires. Now, tires have a year on them of when they were made and what lot number they were made. So make sure your tires are relatively new. Some RV dealerships, which they tell me they make sure that it's new, but they never do. So these tires here we just bought, it costs us thousands of dollars to change our tires. So you want to make sure you have good tires that are going to last you a while. I would try like brand new tires, but it's not going to happen. So that's the main thing. Now we're going to go. You might want to get some coveralls and climb underneath the RV and take a look around. So there's rust and stuff that nobody's going to tell you about. You need to take a look at that underneath. You can pop the hood, you can look at stuff under the hood, but you're not going to see much because the engine's totally covered. This is a gasser, so almost every RV that I've seen that's a gas uses a Ford engine, 10-cylinder, with the Ford framework. So you have no choice there. Unless you get a diesel, it'll be at the back, it'll be a diesel pusher. The bonus about having a diesel, engine is at the back, it's very, very quiet up at the front. Very quiet. And you got some weight on your tires at the back with the diesel, which sometimes can be helpful and sometimes it can't. Sometimes we've seen diesels sink in the mud where we get out. So you got to weigh your pros and cons. I'm just telling you what I know. And now, my dog. Okay, so now we're going to go up top and take a look around up top. And I'll tell you what we looked for when we bought this one. Okay, so here we are on top of our RV. So if you're buying an RV, get on the top. What you're going to do is you're going to take a look around. You're going to take a look, see if there's any bubbles in the roof. See what kind of roof it is. Is it a rubber roof? What kind of roof? Our last RV was re-rubberized. Found out later they had all kinds of water leaks and the walls were all rotted, damaged. So we looked at our roof and there's no bubbles. It looks good. Take a really close look at all these types of seals here. So these seals are not silicone. Never use silicone on your RV. This is called Dicor. You've got two Dicors. You got leveling Dicor for the flat on the top of the roof and non-leveling for the sides. One is self-leveling, the other one isn't. Here's something that we found that was wrong with our RV. Right here. Salesmen will not tell you about this, and their 52-point check, they didn't do anything. Not a thing. That was lifted right off of here. The two bolts are gone, and there's two holes, probably dripping in along the wall. So we put a board under there, re-secured it, and then we sealed it back up. This cap, this was changed because a stick or something must have hit it and cracked it. So we just changed the cap. And we think that is for the automatic awning to detect the wind. This is not the toilet end of the RV. It's where the front of the RV is. So go around and make sure that everything is secure. Give it a wiggle. Also, make sure around your toilet vent, make sure that's all sealed good and there's no cracks in the Dicor. Also, every year we come up here in the spring and in the fall and we check all our Dicor. Make sure there's no cracks. That's about it. We'll head down now and we'll talk inside. Okay, it's still a little chilly here in Canada. I just want to talk about the storage. Now, whoever's trying to sell you this is going to tell you there's tons of storage and you won't even know if there is or not because you're a beginner or you're first time buying. Just look at all the storage and try and imagine in your mind what you're going to put in there. Mostly for us, we do a lot of boondocking. So if we're buying an RV, we make sure that it's got big tanks. We need lots of water, good battery compartment space, and we're always camping, so we bring lots of lawn furniture and stuff like that, and that's why we need all this. Most of the space gets eaten up by all that camping stuff, including the barbecue and everything else. Also, that whole front one, that's tools and stuff. So we like to keep all our tools in here. And you're going to need tools, because when this breaks down, if it breaks down, you're going to need something to get you out of the rut that you're in. Okay, now we're going to go inside. We'll just do a quick review of the lies we were told and the things you should expect. Okay. Hi there, YouTubers. Hey, so you're in your RV that you're looking at. And I'm going to let the dog down now. She's our squatty. She goes everywhere with us. She sits up there on the front. Anyway, so when you're looking at an RV, this here is the, it comes up and out, and it's the camera at the back. And you're going to use that, so you make sure it works. Whether it's color or black and white, I don't know. We haven't found a big difference, except, you know, the car behind us that we're towing is the right color if it's color. You're not going to see any cars behind you anyway. The camera points down too low. You want to make sure the air conditioning is working. Hugely important. Right? Air conditioning's got to be working because these windows give off so much heat. These pathetic little fans, they do nothing. Also, you're going to want to make sure your leveler works. Whether you get an automatic one or not. Most of the time, we level manually, right? Because leveling it automatically, the stupid computer will take the jacks up and up and up and up and up, and then you're walking out of your RV, you're like 3 feet off the ground. So it's kind of crazy. So we do our leveling on by manual, and it really keeps things simple. This doesn't work here anymore because the clowns that replaced our generator, they really are not electrical people, so they didn't know how to hook this back up. So now we have to start at the back. But anyway, you want to make sure your mirrors and stuff are, if you can get them, mirrors that work from in here, because it's really inconvenient for the driver to try to move her mirrors while they're driving. So it's impossible. It's hard. Some of the nice features here, you got your map lights, which just light up everything. It's like daylight when they come on. And we have fog lights. I think that's a nice thing. But also, you're going to make sure that your battery boost switch works. So all these RVs, as far as I can tell, the battery boost switch on this one's here, but our old RV was in a whole different place. The battery boost switch does is it interconnects your house batteries with your vehicle battery. So if you can't start your vehicle for some reason because you're playing the radio or whatever, or you had things plugged in your cigarette lighters, like that happened to us once. We brought a bunch of company, so we didn't have enough room in the fridge, and we put a cooler down, plugged the cooler in there, and guess what? The batteries were dead. So we boosted that way, and it was a great way to go. Yeah, so you're going to want to make sure, some of these RVs come with these little leveling bubbles on the sides. It's nice, but we don't really use that. We can eyeball it, we can feel it. if we're level or not. And it doesn't freaking matter. We have levelers, so we just level it anyway. Anyway, this is about buying an RV, so that's what you want to make sure at the front end here. Again, TVs aren't always at the front, and your storage, you might want to make sure you have enough storage. Okay, so when we bought this RV, like, we noticed that the chairs were all falling apart, right? So that's just something that we knew that we had to deal with. And the people who made the RV, they really don't care. Like, we contacted them, and it's past their so-called warranty. And we met lots and lots of people. We've met lots of people that have had brand new RVs, and they say that there's nothing but problems. And then these people don't stand up to their warranties. They don't help them fix them. They end up charging them thousands and thousands of dollars to get things fixed. Way better to buy an RV that's secondhand. Yes, even if you can get it from the person directly, you know. Because all these clowns do when they buy an RV, this is like a used car sale. They move it into the lot, jack the freaking price up. And if it's a trade-in, they even lower the price on the poor guys. And so they're making a shit killing on their RV. So if you can buy it from somebody on Kijiji or whatever, I think that's way better. Either way, they're going to lie to you about the condition of the RV. It's up to you. Like this fridge, for example. This fridge, they told us, we did a 52-point inspection on this whole RV, and it works great. Wrong. So this fridge, when we got it, was not working. It only worked when it was cold outside. When it got hot outside, it stopped working. What had happened was, the fans, there's two big, huge fans in here, and they were disconnected. Not that somebody disconnected them, the connectors broke, so I'm lucky I'm a technologist, and I could fix that no problem. So I got the fridge working. Also, the stove. When Catherine went to visit them, when she was looking at this RV, she saw that they had the stove apart, like all the top was apart. And the stove was, they said they were fixing it. They said, we're doing this part of our 52-point inspection, and we're going to get her, make sure she's all working good. When we get home, the stove doesn't freaking light, right, on one of the elements. Well, because the clicker was broken, and they knew it was broken. They never ordered a clicker, and never fixed it, never did anything. So I had to do that. It's really annoying. What'd you say about the, oh, this was not working. So this is all coming apart, all the screws and everything. So we had to, what I had to do is dowel it, and then re-drill and make good, solid, secure holes for it. Also, you can talk.
Hmm?
What?
Okay, the mattress was holes in it.
Oh. Yeah, okay, so we get the RV, and something they won't tell you either is if there's been mice in the RV. Well, they're not going to tell you about the water, if there's leakage, okay, and they're not going to tell you about mice. Now, mice can do a shitload of damage. Mice, urine and feces are toxic, and they smell bad. And also, mice can chew stuff and make a mess of things. So we got here, we looked at our chair, like for our table, we have 2 extra set of chairs for our table. And one chair was totally eaten by mice. And then we had, and like this bed here is a queen size bed, which is a blow up mattress, which mice had chewed through. And it was a mess. So we fixed it, but anyway, you got to watch what mice will do. Mice will damage stuff. So mice got into the air duct work here and totally urinated in it all and pooped in it all. And because you buy the RV, it's cold outside. You're not really buying it in August, so the smell isn't there. But come your first camping trip and it's you know, I don't know, 22 degrees Canadian weather, like Celsius, it's going to be, whoa, stinking mouse shit and pee, which is just horrible. So we had to take all these things off, and then we had to clean all our vents out. then we discovered that the mice came in through the air conditioning units on top. So then we bought some screens and made sure they weren't getting in through there anymore. That's another video. I can do that. So yeah, the mice were another problem. This was a problem. That was a problem.
The batteries were dead.
Yeah, the batteries were dead. Dead as a nail. They were the original batteries, and nobody took care of them. And they weren't even the right batteries for an RV. So, get the deep cycle batteries. I got a video on that. So, get the deep cycle batteries, 6 volt series. It's the way to go. But, also something we did as a bonus is we changed all the lights in here to LED lights, because that makes the batteries last a lot longer. Just go on eBay, take a light bulb out, go on eBay, there's a number on your lights, type that number in and LED equivalent, they'll send you, and you can, for 20 bucks, do your whole RV. It's incredible.
Instead of 20 bucks each.
Yeah, instead of 20 bucks each. Okay, so it's starting to get dark here. When we first got the RV, there's a sensor down here that detects the propane, right? So if it smells propane, it shuts off the propane tank. But it also needs batteries, and because the batteries were dead, this stupid buzzer kept going on and on and on and on and on. Had my wife all in a fluster. She didn't know what that was going on. So that was no big deal. But you know, the batteries were changed. They could have told us that stuff, but they didn't.
52 pick.
What? Yeah, the 52 point check. Yeah, right now. Okay, so we get the RV and we start up the furnace. Right, because it's cold. Your first time camping, it's going to be cold. Is my face in this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so your first time camping, it's going to be cold, right? The furnace is in here. So it wasn't blowing any air. I put my hands over the rads and there's no air blowing. So we have one of these cameras with a long, we bought one of these long wire optical fiber optic cameras. It goes onto your cell phone. Anyway, so we took a look and there had been a mouse that built a nest inside the fan of the furnace. Completely filled it up with our chair parts that they took all our chair apart. So as the fan was spinning, the whole mouse bed was spinning with it and there was no air getting it. So we had to really reach in there and get the stuff out. Also, when they put the furnace in, they didn't use the right furnace for this, right? So furnaces, if you look this up, it come with holes, drill out holes that you're supposed to use because the fan blows the air to the holes, but they didn't do that. So they invented their own way of doing this. I don't blame them. It's the guys who built this, and pretty much the air had to go through a slot about that big. And I completely rebuilt that. So now, you know, the air's going through a slot that big. All of a sudden, we get lots of heat in here. So you got to be careful with these guys because they don't know anything. Like they really don't know anything about the RV. The people selling them the RV or trading it in aren't telling them, well, we're trading it in because all the stuff's happening to it now, right? So buyer beware. The slide outs. When we got this, we couldn't, if we put the levelers down, we couldn't put the slide outs out. Like one slide would go, or if you brought that one in, then you could put another one out, but you couldn't put them all out. There's always one that wasn't going out. So I went out and I looked at the box, opened the box up where the hydraulics is. There's a big tank in there. Tank was empty. Okay, these 52-point inspection clowns, right? They don't care. They don't do anything to the RV. They take the RV from the poor people that want to get rid of it. They give it a really big mark down, and then you walk in and they boost it right up. They might have a cleaning lady come in and wipe shit down, but that's about it. Like you have no idea how way better off you are just to buy it off Kijiji or something. This room here, I think everything was oh, why did we rip the with this slide out. The slide out was going in, right? Yeah, it was going out, and it wasn't meshing with the wall. It was like this, and the wall's here, and so there's this big gap, and the seals weren't sealing. So we had to tear all this apart. You use your ingenuity, try to figure out the physics, and then you do some adjustments or shimming, and then you can get it all to marry up, and it worked. It worked for us. Like, we got it to work. The shower head, totally plugged up. Totally plugged up. Like, there was like 2 streams coming out of it. These taps, they were, okay, you don't have to show them the taps, but these taps in the bathroom, they weren't working right. We had to take them apart and get them to work right. One was even leaking out, right? Because they just don't care. They don't check. And they don't know. And they don't want to know. They just want to sell the vehicle. Vehicle comes in, vehicle goes out. But I think what you need to do too is check your toilet seals. Alright, so make sure the toilet's it's shut, and then just put some water in it. Like, have them put some water, or antifreeze if there's no water available. Make sure it stays in there. Always, when you store it with antifreeze in there anyway. Keeps the seals wet, and that's what you want. Make sure all your windows work, right? Try them all. Make sure your fans all work, and the water pump should work. Make sure that works. Our last RV, the water pump didn't work like we thought it was working, but it was nowhere near the pressure it should have been working. But if you're a first-time RVer, the water should be coming out pretty good. Like, it shouldn't be just a little trickle, right? So if they tell you that it's working good, no, it's not working good. It's got to be kind of hard, all right? Because you're going to be showering in it. You're going to flush your toilet with it, and everything else. You're not going to know if all your electrical plugs are working, and you're just going to know that when you try it for your first time. And I think that's about it, sweetie. Anything else? No? Okay. There you go. So some things I didn't elaborate on. So when you look at your tire dates, the tire date is the date of manufacture. Now, it could have sat in the warehouse for a year. You don't know. And big deal is that RV tires don't really wear out. Like, you can drive them anywhere you want. They don't wear out much. The sun kills them. So the sun dries out the rubber, they start to crack, and then there's your problem. So 7 years is the limit for your RV tires, generally. Now, if you take good care of them and you know, armor all them or whatever, keep good care of them, they can, last you 10 years. But our tires, when we bought the RV, were already over 7 years, and they didn't really care. Like, these guys were awful. Speaking of that, I went to the store after I came back from, I've been working at the other in Canada, and I came back and my wife had bought this RV, which is good because we both planned it together. But I went in the store and I talked to the manager, and I had a list of grievances. I had real problems with the way they sold us the RV and all the problems with the RV. And he took our name and phone number and email address and everything else, and he says, yeah, I'm going to look into this, and I'm going to, get it all sorted out, and, which was all a lie. I never heard from the guy again. And I told him when I was there, I says, you know what, this isn't the Joe Schmo guy that's on the floor working, all right? It's not him. It's not his supervisor. It's not his manager. It's not you, the manager. You know who it is? It's the owner. The owner probably tells him, you're going to do nothing to this RV and we're going to sell it the way it is. And that's it. Because there's no way that the lower person's going to risk his job by just not doing it and saying he did. So somebody told him not to do it, and I'm going to guess it's the owner. And the owner's got the biggest financial gain in this, so, who's going to do it? Him. Anyway, I never did hear back from them at all. When you're Also, when you're looking at your roof, ask questions. You know, they're all going to lie to you anyway. And I think your best bet is if you buy straight off somebody, then at least when you're looking them in the eye and you're asking them questions, you can pretty much tell if they're lying. When you're buying it from somebody who's just got the vehicle, they don't know anything about the vehicle, so they're going to tell you whatever they think you want to hear. Yeah, look at your roof good, because that's the biggest thing about an RV. Once you start getting water leaks, it's going to be a long, hard, expensive fix, and you don't want that. So we go up there as often as we can and we check. Walk the entire roof. Make sure there's nothing spongy under your feet, you know, and it's not a good thing for both of you to ever be standing beside each other on the RV roof, because these roofs generally are made with like 2x2s, and that's not a lot of strength. So look, oh, my phone. So just take a really good look around, inside and out. Open all the storage compartments, ask lots of questions, and it should be all good. Okay, it's go by. Oh, this is perfect. If you can get somebody who's bought a couple of RVs to go and look at the RV, get them to do it. It's like as if you're buying a house, right? And you have an inspector come and check out your house, because you don't know the ins and outs of all the technical stuff about a house. Same with an RV. Doesn't hurt to have somebody who has done this before, has been screwed over before, and can tell you what to do and what to look for. You know, and you know, you got to watch it too, because you know, I bring my RV to an RV sales place to get work done on it, and the first thing they do, like, they have this guy come out and starts putting down your RV and blah blah blah, and then you tells you the dangers and all this stuff, and of course they've got a whole lot full of RVs they'd love to sell you, so be cautious of them too. Be aware of what these people are doing, and ask questions. Ask lots of people lots of questions. But we didn't start with a full RV like that. We started off camping in a tent. Decided we liked it, and then we got a trailer, and then we got a little bigger RV, and now we've got this one, 37.5 feet. Beautiful RV. We're very happy with it. Great for boondocking, because it's like got these huge tanks, and we've got 2 solar panels we pull out, and it's just beautiful, and we never have a problem. Thing about this RV too is we had a long time to get the RV, because they had to change the generator, and then they connected the generator, like they couldn't figure out how to connect up the old switches and everything, because there was a different connector. So what they did was they made a hole in the side of one of our cupboards and put the switch there, and it's a real pain in the arse to go all the way back to the back of the RV to start the generator, where it used to be at the front. I don't know, I might change the wiring on that and put it the way it's supposed to. But you know, the generator's been working fine. Super quiet generator. That was about the only thing they did for us, right? And that was being done before we even talked or even saw them about the RV. So don't know where they were coming from on that, but they didn't check anything else. So be careful. RVing is so much fun, and don't go and overexpense yourself. So be prepared for the expenses that are going to be incurred with an RV. You know, like the gas. 75 gallon US gallon tank on ours, so it takes a lot of gas, and I only put synthetic oil in it, and the generator only gets synthetic. Also, tires are expensive. Like, it was over $3 grand for tires. Heaven forbid you break down on the road. So we have CAA for RVs. You have to be careful where you drive with an RV. A 407 highway in Canada is a pay highway, but there's no tolls or gates or anything. So you just drive on the highway and then they take a picture of your license plate and they charge you in the mail. Well, RVs aren't allowed to take those, but your GPS is going to constantly trying to get you onto that highway, I think, because the people who do the highway pay off the GPS people to get you to drive on there. But that's just me thinking that. So other things too GPSs like to do is be wrong. So with an RV, you can't go and trust the GPS wholeheartedly. All right, the GPS is going to try and take you through small towns, through downtowns, trying to get through stores and stuff, right? So also we've been caught in very tight spots with the RV because the GPS said it was okay. So you got to be careful. Lucky if you have a setting on your GPS that says you're driving a big truck or an RV, and the GPS that we were using is off our phone, so it didn't have that option. It was a very low-grade GPS. That's a couple other things you might want to be concerned about. Also, when you buy your RV, those people are probably not going to have good batteries, and you're going to want to go out and get some good batteries. So be prepared for that. A little bit of expense. Shop around for your insurance. Insurance is like, so many insurance companies want to rip off RV people. So we found a really good insurance company. We pay, I just got the bill, I think it's $933 a year if you pay it all up front at once. Otherwise, you're going to pay something like 15% more. That's a big one. You got to be, when you're taking an RV, it's good to have some freedom. So if you're not pulling a car, you're going to be stuck shopping at Walmarts or whatever big stores. You have to fill up your RV with food, and then you're going to be stuck at your campsite. So what we do is we pull a car, and we have a unit for that. Now, it's called a car dolly. You're going to go through tires on the car dolly like incredibly stupid. So we buy new tires every 2 years. After the first year, we rotate the tires because the car dolly is holding a car. It's good to have a front-wheel drive car if you're going to use a car dolly. The axle bends like this, right, because the weight of the car, and then the insides of the tires wear out first. So then you got to rotate the tires, and then you get another year out of them. Roads in the U.S. are just horrible, and they take a toll on your car dolly tires. Also, if you're putting a car on the car dolly does not have suspension, so you can't be going over railroad tracks fast. You're pretty much going to come to almost a stop to go over railroad tracks, so you don't hurt your car dolly. Car dollies are inconvenient in that when you go to park in a campsite, you got to find a place to put this thing. All right, so sometimes it's inconvenient. We have some campsites where they have golf carts with balls on them, and then you can pull the car dolly wherever you want. We're going to put a trailer hitch on my wife's car, the one that we chose, so that we can move the car dolly around much easier. The dolly, from when I was talking to people, it's better if you have a car that you don't need a dolly. The beauty about the dolly is that, for example, we took our daughter down camping, and she had babies and baby seats and car seats and all that stuff, and we didn't have the room in our little PT Cruiser for that. So we were able to take her car, which the bonus, because let's suppose we went the route where other people do, and I totally recommend it. If you can get a car that you can tow behind that's got like a disconnect system for the transmission and the axles and everything, perfect. Pull your car that way, right? But with the dolly, we were able to take anybody's car that we want. So if their car has a special fixes inside the car that they need, you know, then you can do it with a car dolly. So that's the perks of having a car dolly. We have not had the inclination or the urge to get rid of it, and we're happy with it. You have to check the car dolly out often. Okay, so the first things that broke, and I'll probably make a video of this, the first thing that broke was the lights. Because these things are built so quick, it's not even funny. I mean, the welds are barely credible, I guess. So we had welds break. The lights were the first things that went. The cables all disconnected and everything, and really, it's all just riveted together and riveted to plastic, and it's something. And you got to constantly keep it greased, and you've got to take it to somebody who knows how to test it for the brakes, because our dolly uses hydraulic brakes. So if the vehicle stops, it squeezes in a hydraulic cylinder, which causes the brakes to come on the dolly. So you have to get that checked all the time. We get our bearings every few years. We have the bearings re-greased, because seriously, when you're pulling a dolly with an RV, you're not even going to know you're pulling anything. And if anything goes wrong with that, unless you're looking in the rear view camera, you're not going to know. So it's better to be safe. Also with the dolly, you've got to, after you hook it all up and secure your vehicle on the dolly, there's no safety chains or anything. So you're driving down the road, and you need to stop after a little bit and check the tightness of your straps and stuff that are holding your tires. Now, it's a good idea if you're going a long distance, let's say 8 hours or something, to stop once in a while and check those straps again. Okay, so we've been caught off guard where one tire was like completely loose, but the other tire was good. And you know what? Frankly, I think if the straps weren't even on it, and if the vehicle like transmission was in park, it would probably hold. But I don't want to take that chance. I don't even want to test that theory. I just make sure the straps are good. Other people have said that, you know, it'd be a good idea to put a safety chain on it, like that would wrap around the diff. And I said to them, well, this is a front-wheel drive, so it doesn't have a diff in the middle, so I don't know where you would connect the safety chain, because it ain't going on the bumper. These are plastic bumpers. Anyway, that's our experience with RVing. For sure, if you're buying an RV, it's your first time buy, go online and look at all the YouTube videos for RV driving, especially first-time RV drivers. Biggest thing we found is that ass end really likes to swing out, and you aren't turning this like you're turning a car. So it's a good idea to go somewhere that's big and practice. Also, the rule that we have, and we love this rule, is whatever you don't want to hit, make sure it passes your ass. So as whatever goes by, as soon as it passes your ass, you can turn, and you probably won't hit it. We like to take our turns wide. Don't let other drivers intimidate you. So if you're stuck somewhere because you're having a hard time turning, well, just stay still and wait until they all, let them get their frustrations out. They'll go away, and then you can go. Don't ever take your RV into a campsite, like with trees especially, without ground guiding. So, and backing up, never back up without ground guides. And then you can't even trust the ground guides. We've had ground guides that are looking at where you're going, and then after you hit something, they'll, oh yeah, that was there. Okay, so if you don't have a good gut feel, stop the RV, get out and take a look yourself. Ask questions, leave your window open so you can yell at people and say, is it clear, is that side good, check the roof, make sure we're not going to hit anything up above. Yeah, if you come up to a bridge, make sure, like, get one person out of the RV and just inch the RV up, make sure you're going to clear the bridge. If you're pulling a vehicle like we do, and you get stuck. Let's say we went to a gas station once, and for the life of us, we couldn't get out like with the trailer, so we had to disconnect the car, disconnect the trailer, back and back and forth the RV till we got it so that we were ready to go on the road. Meanwhile, we're inconveniencing all kinds of people. We rehook up the trailer, hook up the car, and then we go. So it takes time. Just don't let other people's impatience cloud your judgment. Make sure you do what you're supposed to do. Okay, so take your time. In the levelers. Okay, so the first time using an RV with levelers, it's pretty exciting. Big deal is not to let your wheels just like hang in the air. I don't think that's good on the suspension. I've been told it isn't. Suspensions on cars are meant to be pushed down on. So we bring a lot of boards and stuff that we drive the RV up onto so that it's kind of sort of level, and then we use our levelers, and that way the wheels are always on something and touching something. An interesting point that was brought up to me last time I was camping is a fella had a grounding rod and he was pounding it in the ground, and he was connecting the cable up to his RV, and I thought that was kind of weird, because I'd never seen that on an RV before, but it made a lot of sense because in the military, that was my job. I fixed generators, and we always grounded everything. So I was thinking, you know what I need to do? I need to get a grounding rod for my RV and a cable so that I can ground the RV, even though it's running on the generator and everything. Just some things you're going to want to do is just talk to a lot of people. See what they do. Look at what they're doing. You know, sometimes they have good ideas. Sometimes they don't have good ideas. Sometimes there's some people that are really paranoid. And the people online will try to sell products, so they'll make people paranoid. You know, you gotta feel it all out, right? Anyway, you're gonna have so much fun. Hope you pick the right one for you. You'll know, and if you don't know, it'll be like when we bought our first one. It was just a nightmare. But the more you fix those problems, it becomes yours. Like, we are so happy with our RV right now. We have fixed it all up. We fixed all the problems that these freaking clowns should have fixed, because they told us they did a 52-point check, which they didn't do. And now we're super happy with it. And the biggest thing I have found, I think, is that people are just not good at it, at fixing things up, so they just don't bother. Other things too, I think, is that people have a lot of money. So if you got a lot of money, you buy a brand new RV, and in about 4 or 5 years, whatever, it starts giving you problems, you just sell it. And you've never, ever, I mean, even changed the oil. I mean, you've never gone on the roof and checked for any leaks, and you've never done anything because you're rich. You don't care. So you be aware, guys, that there are all kinds of people out there, and in the end, they're all trying to make money. So it isn't a game of honesty. It's a game of money, and you got to be careful. All right. So I hope this helps somebody, so you don't have to go through any nightmares or anything like that. Like our first RV, the guy we bought off was off Kijiji and told us everything we wanted to hear. Oh my God. We got it. We went to go to our very first camping. It was a festival, and the brakes broke. So my wife's driving, and she goes, you know, the brakes don't feel right. And I go, what are you talking about? So she goes, the pedal went right down to the floor. Okay, so we need to pull over. So then I pulled over. Luckily, we were pulling the car, and I sent her to places to go get the parts, and replaced all the brake lines. And we got to the campsite like at midnight, and they wouldn't let us in, so we had to sleep in the camper outside the campsite. It was really interesting. Now you look back and you go, well, that was cool, that was fun, but it wasn't fun, it wasn't cool. And it was raining, and I had to lay in the water and work on everything. So That was just one incident. So you have to be careful. Take a really good look around and underneath. Check for rust. Look for bad things like, oh my god, these brake lines are rusty. So don't even look at that RV. Don't get your heart set on anything. All right? Don't get your heart set on anything. And I don't know, that's really hard to do because you're going to see some that have nice features and you're going to say, oh, I'd really love to have that RV. So once the guy who's trying to sell you gets that into his head, he's just gonna push it, and yeah, there's no hope for you then. I hope this helps somebody, and happy RVing. Bye for now.